Yeah. So hopefully everyone has seen the new HBO show, Lanterns. Obviously it is based on the DC Comics, Green Lantern. I was always super excited about this, but there was one thing I was really worried about because when I think about Green Lantern, I
Mm-hmm.
think about very heavy CGI.
Lots of sci-fi.
Yes, because like literally you have a ring, anything that you can imagine, you can make. And then if you I didn't read too much of the Green Lantern comic books, but what I did read, often they're able to imagine like goofy shit. That's just it's going to be expensive to try to do, especially in a TV show. Especially if you do not have like $10 million per episode budget. How are you going to make a TV show around something that has unlimited imagination capabilities without having an unlimited budget, essentially. Um, so, and I think with this first episode, we get a glimpse into how HBO plans on attacking this. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something I super really like, and I'm really interested in your opinion here, Alex. But something that I really liked is they address immediately, oh, like why aren't you wearing the suit? Oh, why aren't you flying around? Why aren't you doing this? Um, and he explains it. He goes, "This is a weapon of mass destruction. Knowing when to use it is just as important as when not to use it." So pretty much like, and this kind of flashback, it reminded me of, I did my I did handgun training at a police academy, um, and the instructor said, "You do not pull your weapon unless you're planning to use it, and you do not use your weapon unless you're planning to kill someone. Like you don't just flash it around. You take it very seriously." Um, and I think like really thinking about this, like the Green Lantern, like the ring it's essentially that. It is a weapon that if you shouldn't just use it for every single thing. So I really liked this first episode because it was more. It's not going to be all about the ring. It's not going to be all about the flashy CGI. You will see it, and I think it's going to be maybe heavier in some episodes versus others. But I think HBO told us in this first episode, like we're not going to go for like insane CGI like Ryan Reynolds,
No,
shit. We're gonna focus on like the story aspect of everything, and I personally liked it. Alex, what do you think?
I was thrilled. So obviously, leading up to this, they said it was True Detective meets Green Lantern, and I was like, okay, there's some potential here. Like, I had the same concerns with you about budget and how do you do this, um, and things like that. Much like True Detective, they do bounce between three different time periods, right? We start out in 1996, right? We go to 2016, and then we go to 2026. So we get three kind of time jumps in there. It kind of bounces back and forth. Um, we see it, and there's multiple murder mysteries. Without going into spoilers, there are multiple murder mysteries that are happening in these various time periods. Let's not forget this takes place in the same universe as Superman and
Yep.
Supergirl and Peacemaker and all of this other stuff. This is in the greater DC universe. And so it's built in with that context that they gave us at the beginning of Superman. Metahumans have been around for 300 years. This is a world, right, where metahumans are it's a thing. It's been around. That's one of the things we get early in the show in 1996 is Green Lantern on 60 Minutes, right? Um, I really like Aaron Pierre as John Stewart. I think Kyle Chandler is doing a good job as Hal Jordan.
Yep.
Um, there is a sequence that's been floating around social media all week, and I'm not going to go super into detail. A couple of things I would like to note about the world of Superman. George W. Bush and Barack Obama were still the presidents in the DC universe, which they
Oh
explained
wow.
to us in this episode of Lanterns.
Yeah.
Because there is a sequence in the middle where Hal Jordan is talking to somebody, and what breaks it open is Barack Obama. And I loved the sequence where he's talking to somebody and he's asking about everything from Hogwarts to Barack Obama. And it really does. It all makes sense in context. I'm curious where we're going to get Guy Gardner in here, right?
Yeah.
Because we know
Yeah.
that Guy Gardner's in the show. I'm curious how the adaptation for the comics, because like, is there one Green Lantern? Who's the Green Lantern when? We've got three different time periods. And if Superman took place in 2025 in the world of the DCU, obviously at that point, Guy Gardner had the Lantern Ring, or one of the Lantern Rings.
Yeah.
Are there multiple lanterns? I'm curious. Like, I'm interested to see where they take this. I will say this. I am not surprised, okay, that this is good. And I think we've talked about this on this show 100 fucking times. HBO just makes good television. HBO almost never misses, okay? The Pit, Lanterns, House of the Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Game of Thrones, like The Sopranos, going all the way back to The Wire. Like, HBO just hits. They know how to make good television. Okay? And I think that this is building out that DCU world that we got in Superman and Supergirl and Peacemaker. We're getting more. It's flushing it out more, right? So overall, I think the show was so far, again, we're one episode in, this thing could completely go off the rails by episode 5.
Yeah.
I don't think it will, because again, it's HBO. They know what they're doing. Okay. Somebody in the YouTube chat is saying HBO and Apple TV Plus, like seeing Edison and Tesla both in their prime, and that's pretty close to the truth. Apple TV Plus doesn't really miss. They don't do much, right? But I haven't really seen much in the way of shows that aren't good. It does give me pause. And before we move on to the next thing, it does give me pause about the DCU writ large in two ways. And so I'll ask you about that in a minute, but do you have any more thoughts on this one?
I don't think so. It's funny, it's dark, it's gritty. I think I think a lot of people are not going to like it. Maybe. I will say that because it's not so far, this is it's a little slow, right? Like you're not seeing a whole lot of action. If you want to go see like a traditional, I don't know, DC movie, right? Like, and True Detective, right? Like True Detective builds up over time. It's not every episode insanity. I'm fine with it. I like it. I love the direction that we're going so far, but I think a lot of fans, because if you remember, fans were turned off by The Batman because The Batman was focused on being a detective. It wasn't just kicking people's asses every 5 minutes. So I think some fans are going to be turned off and disappointed. But I tell them, like, go fucking kick rocks. Go watch, fucking Reacher. Reacher season, I don't know, 37 just came out. That's action-packed. Go watch that.
Okay. I'm going to bump the spoiler tag on really quick because I am going to go into a little spoiler so I can respond to what somebody in the chat said. Somebody said a lot of people won't like this version of Hal. I don't think there's one version of Hal. That's what's interesting to me. And the first thing I noticed, because we get, in the first flashback scene, we get Hal in the Green Lantern suit on 60 Minutes. Okay, cool. Then we get Hal the asshole who's talking to Jon Stewart in the car. And then he, boots Jon Stewart out of the car. We all kind of saw that in the trailers.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's a different Hal. And it's the Hal that comes out of the ring. Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I've been in, when was the last time you backed up? 10 years ago. Okay, so that's 2006. Something happened. And I think we're going to see in the course of this show that soured Hal,
Yep.
right? That pissed him off. Okay. Sometime between the last time he was backed up into the ring, right? And the version of him that is talking to Jon Stewart on the road, and it's like, because he seems kind of chipper. He's like, oh, okay, who are you? Like da 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 da. Like it's a very different attitude, and Kyle Chandler is too good of an actor for that to be an accident.
No.
Right. So I think we're gonna find out that between 2006 and 2016, something happened that changed Hal's attitude.
Do
Right.
you have enough Green Lantern knowledge to kind of speculate as to what you think that could be? No.
No, because, and I'm turning off the spoiler tag now. No, and the reason is that there's been a lot of lanterns. There's an
No.
entire. I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, there's an entire corps of Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Like, there's a crap ton of them. And just in the case of the DCU, what we have seen this early in the DCU is there's three. There's Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, and Jon Stewart are all around. Okay. So I don't know what the deal with that is. And I'm curious if they're going to address it. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know. So this brings me to my issue with the DCU. There's two things. One, we're moving too fucking slow. I'm sorry. They're moving too slow. Okay. They've been running this thing around for like 3-4 years now, and we still don't have an announcement on a Batman. Okay. And I'm sorry. Green Lantern's a big character in DC Comics. That's great. But I got a Clayface movie coming out this fall in the DCU, which looks great. I want to see it. But I don't have Batman. Right? And we talk about the fact that this is fleshing out the world and it's adding a lot of depth to this DCU world. And James Gunn set it up. Look, metahumans are just a thing. Da 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 da. Where the fuck is Batman? Right? Where's the Flash? Right? Tell me, you guys have got to get this cooking faster. And somebody in the chat is saying, it's slower than Marvel. No, it's not. I'm going to go back to the release dates. Iron Man came out in 2008. Incredible Hulk came out in 2008. Iron Man 2, 2010. Thor, 2011. Captain America, the First Avenger, 2011. In 3 years, we were 5 movies in 3 years. Right? With the concept that when Iron Man was released, they weren't 100% sure they could do a cinematic universe. They were just thinking they might. They might. Okay? 3 years in, you have 5 movies. Okay? You're going too slow. And I'm sorry. You've got Peacemaker, Superman, Supergirl, Lanterns, and we're 4, and Creature Commandos. We're 5 projects in. And the closest thing we've gotten to a Batman sighting is a silhouette on a building. Okay? You got to pick up the pace, James. I'm sorry. You do. That's issue number 1. My second is not so much an issue, but I'm wondering if this is intentional or not. Okay? Marvel makes a very distinct choice. So does Star Wars, right? Everything's in that PG-13 range, okay? To make it accessible, right? So that your kids can get into it, right? DC ain't doing that, okay? three of the five projects they've put out. Okay. Creature Commandos, exceedingly violent. Okay. Peacemaker, that definitely is not appropriate for children. And now we're into Lanterns. Okay. Which, again, I'll throw the spoiler tag up without going into major spoilers. Within a certain section of the thing, Jon Stewart's getting his dick rode in the front of his pickup truck. Fairly early in the episode. Okay. So here's my question to you on that. Do you think that they are intentionally just going, nope, DC, and then we're going Clayface, right? Which I believe will be rated R. Okay. So here's my question. Are we intentionally going, nope, DC is just, look, it's the opposite. Marvel is generally PG-13 with the occasional like R-rated content. I'm talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, Punisher One Last Kill, etc. But those are the one-offs, not the main thrust of their creative decision as far as rating goes. Is James Gunn going the opposite way? Where he's going, look, this is an R-rated universe, and occasionally you're going to get a PG-13 movie. Because the majority of what they're putting out there is adult content. Which hurts your audience. Like how big your audience can be.
Yeah, I think DC is in, I hate to say it, but I think DC is in hell right now. And they can stay there and get the shit kicked out of them, or they can fight back out into the light. They can climb out of hell 1 inch at a time.
I'm just asking. I'm asking. I mean, again, if that's the way he wants to go, where look, the majority of our content that we're going to put out is going to be for mature audiences, right? 17 and older. That's fine. That's a creative decision, and I'm not knocking it. But it is going to limit your financial viability long term. It just is.
I kind of wonder about this if DC has like taken a step back, looked at their recent kind of failures with some movies and said, "Hey, look, this is when we attempt to like recreate the Marvel strategy, like we have failed a few times, time and time again, for various different reasons. But let's stop trying to be like Marvel. Let's try to capture the adult fans out there." And like let's not try to make a movie that's for everyone, that's PG-13, but only try to like go after the adult segment, which yes, on your little spreadsheet where you love to track all of the movie like box office everything, it's not going to do well there. But maybe perhaps like the marketing strategy here is that DC plans on trying to focus on capitalizing, or either A, like building up their fan base, very, very loyal fan base to their movies, or B, they're going to try to like capitalize somewhere else, some other way that I'm not really sure how. But I don't know. I think maybe they're just like not trying to do the Marvel thing because they suck at it.
Maybe. And again, it's something that I think, I'm still mad. And here's the other reason. It's not that I don't have Batman now. We have no casting. We have nothing, right? The Batman 2 got pushed to 2028. I don't think we're going to see Batman in the DCU until 2029 for another 3 years, which means we're going to be 6-7 years into this. And by the way, James Gunn's contract don't last that long. Okay. And that's the stuff that we've always missed from DC, right? Is having that bigger built out world, except in the TV shows and stuff like that. They've never managed to do it on the big screen well. So it's just my question. Sorry, I'm asking questions. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below.